The Israeli military offensive against the Palestinians in the Gaza Strip continues. The death toll is now over 100 following several days of airstrikes. Bear in mind those 100 Palestinians. Okay, we're going to see a lot of numbers about death tolls. It's not the Israeli death toll. They're doing pretty good during this offensive. Although you do have to
Germany-Brazil soccer game. Then.
Exactly. It took 3 minutes. That's it. But yeah, the Gaza militants have retaliated by firing over 550 rockets as of earlier today. I will point out, as I always do when covering these sorts of stories, I don't know of any other military conflict around the world where they count the number of shots fired, except when it's a Palestinian militant. Because if you actually talked about the damage done in dollars or in lives, the casualties, you might actually lead you to believe that they're a bit outmatched when it comes to Israel. But when you list the number of rockets, it sounds like it's an even fight. It is not. So yeah, there was the Israeli airstrikes all throughout today, killing a well-known Islamic jihad leader. Eventually, the Gaza health officials said that the strikes going over yesterday night raised the death toll to at least 98. That has been exceeded today. But yeah, also the number of wounded, 670. So the death toll is rising, the number of wounded rising. It's a bad situation all around. I don't think anyone watching this internationally expects a good outcome. I mean, we've seen this script played through multiple times. We were joking earlier today, I feel like they're just putting new dates on old stories. Like there's the retaliation for the killing of an Israeli teen, then they go in, they're considering sending in troops. Like we've seen this played through multiple times. And so it's depressing to have to report on it once again.
Yeah, by the way, John, you made the best point that will be made on this show. Like no one talks about the Battle of the Bulge and says, oh man, we beat the Germans, 4,389,311 shots fired to 2,500,421,916. Like what? Yeah. Like what kind of crazy way is that to talk about a battle? Like all shots, the rocket, they lost 550 rockets, therefore we could watch 1,100. It's pretty even.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, and they even point out that the Israeli military has hit more than 1,100 targets as of earlier today. How many rockets did they use? How many missiles? How many bombs? No, we actually know about the destruction in lives and buildings. And I don't think, like the media never had a conversation that just said that that's how we're going to talk about Palestinian attacks. But they have seemed to, it's not just this from Talking Points memo, everybody does this. And I'm not trying to diminish the actual damage that's done by those rockets when they do, against all odds, hit something. There was a gas station that was struck. A man was critically injured there, could possibly die. That's real. The toll is real. But the way that it's being presented to the audience, both in America and internationally, is intended to deceive you.
Yeah, I guess it's intended to deceive. I feel like it's intended to justify, because there is sort of a basis that you start with that Israel wouldn't be behaving this way. That's weird.
Yeah, it's freaking me out right now.
What's going on? Am I turning the right way or no? Was I turning the wrong way?
It's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yes.
Yeah, because we're not talking about that guy yet.
Yeah, that's Ben Shapiro from Breitbart, and we're going to get to him in just a second.
Yeah. Well, let's get to him.
Megyn Kelly had conservative columnist Ben Shapiro on her program. They were discussing the attack on the Gaza Strip, currently ongoing. Obviously, there's a toll in terms of the damage done in the Gaza Strip, the lives lost there. But Ben Shapiro is more interested in taking a toll on the president. And so he had this to say about Barack Obama's slow response to the offensive in the Gaza Strip.
For 3 weeks, the President of the United States himself said absolutely nothing. And then finally, when he did say something, he said that Israel should act with restraint with regard to the people who had kidnapped and killed these boys. This is an anti-Israel administration. It's the first administration in American history that is obviously anti-Israel. It's borderline a Jew-hating administration. There can be no question at this point that the daylight that has been created between the United States and Israel has emboldened Israel's enemies and enemies of the United States.
How do you say that? I mean, that Iron Dome system, Ben, that they are using so effectively in Israel tonight was largely funded in part by the United States, hundreds of millions of dollars under President Barack Obama.
Well, the President of the United States still is going to sign over money to Israel because it's politically unpalatable not to do so. But that doesn't mean that the President of the United States can't undermine Israel's ability to take out the people who are going after it.
That is some twisted logic right there. By the way, the beginning of that clip was a lie by him.
Motherfucker, you white people fucking get mad at you. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. And fuck Megyn Kelly, too. Back off.
Not literally.
No, of course not literally. Like, because she did the right thing and kind of calls him out, right? But it comes right after setting up this entire idea. She sets it up with the nonsense about who called when, suggesting that he really is undermining Israel. How is he undermining Israel I slightly disagree with you because of what Anna said. Like, he isn't as strongly pro-Israel as George W. Bush or some other presidents. They all get either A's or A pluses.
Yeah.
Maybe Obama gets an A minus for the kind of thing he said in the beginning, like, dude, easy on the settlements, right? Like, because he said something reasonable and peace-like. Yeah. And then this guy comes out here under the credence of a last name like Shapiro and gets to say, no, come on, he's a borderline anti-Israeli. Jesus Christ, you're not helping. You have blood on your hands when you say stuff like that.
Why does he have blood on his hands when he says stuff like that? Because it doesn't help?
Because it eases the process. It is part of a crazed, nonsensical manner of talking that allows us to believe that whatever manner that Israel responds with is acceptable. Yeah. And that somehow we, by the president not making a phone call for 12 days, undermined. So I guess if the president had called earlier, what? They'd have fired fewer bombs or more? Like they backed off. Like, I don't know what to fire. I can't wait for the phone ring. Who is it? Is it Obama? Fire.
Fuck, it's grandma again.
It's despicable and it's embarrassing and like I haven't had to deal with any realistic anti-Semitism in my entire life, right? And when it is, I've laughed at it because it seems silly. But other people have. Right? In real situations in this country, but mostly around the world. And guys like that and stupidity like that and like this eagerness for aggression and blood and justification makes it harder on all of them.
Well, I think it belittles real anti-Semitism.
Definitely.
Right? When you make statements like that and you say that he is a Jew hater, right? How ridiculous is that statement, especially when you consider the murder, the destruction that Jewish individuals had to go through in past decades, right? To make a statement like that over Obama not making a phone call in 3 days is so stupid, and it trivializes such a big issue.
Well, the ironic thing is I'm pretty sure Ben Shapiro would be the same kind of guy to call somebody a Jew lover. You know what I mean? If he wasn't Jewish.
Yeah. If he wasn't Jewish.
If he wasn't already Jewish.
Right.
He'd be one of that. But I mean, aren't they typically? I knew some Jews who grew up in the South, and they had a hard time. And isn't that
no question? There are people in this country there, and there are some friends of mine have at various times. But I mean, that's a little bit. I don't want. I'm not like. I don't think it gives me extra bona fides. Just look, when I was 10 years old, a kid came up to me on the basketball court. I think I was younger. I was like 8. I was shooting baskets, and he said to me, "You got a quarter?" And I was like, "No." He goes, "You got $1?" And I go, "No." He goes, "You a Jew?" Right? But that was it. I got through the day.
Well, you haven't forgotten it.
No, I haven't forgotten it. You know what? It was super scary at 10. I didn't know what he was going to do, and then we shot some baskets, and I ran home. Everything was okay.
Just a couple of quick points about that last video. The first thing that Ben Shapiro said, that Barack Obama came before the country and said that Israel needs to show restraint, is not true.
Not true.
It's technically true. He said they both need to show restraint. So even his BS argument against Barack Obama relies on a falsehood. I like that she pointed out the hundreds of millions of dollars we've given to the Iron Dome, including the fundamental founding technology that eventually led to Iron Dome. And that's not even to count all of the planes and tanks and small arms and things like that we've provided for them.
And we knew, like, she brings him on and questions him, but they knew what he was going to say because he'd already said it and they'd already read it.
Basically, the article does not, I guess, cut corners. It doesn't quibble over words. It just says he's a Jew hater. Now, she came out of this, got in a little bit of trouble because of her Twitter comments about it. She was like quoting him. Megyn Kelly did. Now, she's saying she doesn't want to lend credence to his argument. Then why did you have him on your program in the first place? He is a nobody. The only thing he's known for is making ridiculous conservative biased arguments like this. You are contributing to that argument by having him on your program in the first place.